Hello and welcome to Tarot with Tanya. This is 7 cards for 7 days. And this week we are starting with Monday, November 6th, and going to the 12th on that following Sunday. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. And with all readings like this, take what resonates for you and leave the rest behind. So in terms of the astrology for the week, we're beginning with the moon in Virgo on that Monday, and we'll end the week with the moon in Scorpio. And those are both feminine signs, so we're going from earth to water. I mean, obviously we'll go through a few in between there, but ending and beginning with a strong feminine note there. We're going also from the mutable, the Virgo, to the fixed, the Scorpio. And I'll mention again, as I have before, that when the moon is the same as when you were born, it's a good time to get things for yourself because it tends to give more emotional satisfaction. And that can be everything from, an appliance to something that you enjoy wearing, a piece of jewelry, whatever it might be, a shirt. Then on Monday, we have Venus trine Pluto. So that's a very good day for romance and passion, strong feelings on the, again, the romance side of things. And Venus is a player again on Wednesday, the 8th, when it enters Libra, and then it'll have an emphasis on relationships, on beauty, all those good things that go with Venus and Libra, and Venus likes to be there. Thursday, we have Mercury entering Sagittarius as well, and that's another good energy, a bright and positive energy, good communication, higher learning things, areas, philosophy, things like that. And given kind of the crazy of the world, I feel like we can use all the help from the planets that we can get. Now on Friday, it's a little bit different. We have Mercury square Saturn, so it could feel like there's some kind of restriction on communications. Maybe more mindfulness there, maybe searching a little harder for the right words to say. Feeling out a situation before we speak, and knowing that others might not be as receptive to our communication as usual. Though it can also help, craft an important message too, if done slowly and carefully. Then on Saturday, we also have Mars opposite of Uranus. Now, to me, those oppositions are not that bad. It's like two different energies, but they're balanced in a way. But it can bring up surprises. That's the Uranus part. The Mars has a lot of energy, so it can change plans, things like that. So just try to be open that day, flexible to what is going on, letting plans change organically. So for the cards this week, the main emphasis seems to be on pairs. It was like we went through a phase in these readings where it was a lot of pairs, and then that went away, focused on other things, and now this week we're back to that. So we have 2 majors, we have 2 wands energy, bows in this deck, and we have 2 vessels energy, so, and then just one, and that's water, by the way, the vessels are the water, and another called stones, which stands for earth. So I'm using the Wildwood deck. So our very first card is the vessels. Try to get out of that glare for you there. And so it's 8 of cups. You probably know it best as 8 of vessels here, and rebirth. Frequently people will read this card as one of loss, and I feel that that's the initial stage in a way. We might have to give up something. We might have to walk away from a situation. But doing that is is for our higher good. That's where the rebirth part comes in. And I'm going to show this one more time because it's so lovely with that sort of central pot and the water dripping and the whole body of water opening up there. It's very feminine. 8 is connected to the strength card in some decks. It's called the stag in this one, but that's what it is essentially. And that very feminine energy of, again, letting go of some old emotional situation and rebirthing into something new. So Tuesday, we move over to a different energy, which is the wands energy. In this deck, the bows. And you might guess this is an English deck. It certainly is, because you have these white chalk paintings, kind of land sculptures. I'm not sure what to call them exactly. But here we have one, and obviously our figure holds a bow, a male figure here, and it is a masculine energy because it's fire. Now, the 5s, this one is called empowerment, but frequently you'll see this card as like 5 people with 5 different points of view, 5 different energies, all striving to say, well, mine's best, no, mine's best, no, mine, and so forth. But here I feel like you've got these wonderful bows on the ground, and then there are 4 of those, and then that 5th one is in the hand. So it's like the tools are there. How do we use them? How do we empower ourselves? And maybe it is having a conversation or just an energetic experience of, yeah, I'm going to stand up for myself. I do believe in what I'm doing. And that is one of the human journeys, because that's connected to the Hierophant as a 5. And we have another 5 here. We actually have the Hierophant. We'll get to that. So I feel like that's especially potent this time with that kind of energy of all the 5s in some ways do represent a challenge to the human, and how do we use that energy to know ourselves better, to be more effective in our communications, our choices, our actions, our attitudes. So that's our Tuesday. Wednesday, we get to that first major, and this one is the sun. Here it is referred to as the sun of life. I love that beautiful sun in the heart space on the chest of our being here. And I mean, it's obviously quite radiant. You have another one of those sort of chalk drawings, if you can see it, behind the figure on the green hill there. Mostly overshadowed, of course, by this blazing sun and the person receiving it. So that is great energy to receive on Wednesday. How can we bring that light, that masculine energy into the heart? And if you can, get outside and get some of that sun. Maybe use a light box, or just meditate on receiving that energy. If you do yoga, you'll know the sun salutation, and we're reaching up each time, bringing that sun into the heart so that there's a connection between the personal and the universal. And I think that's the kind of energy that we can tap into on Wednesday, and that can help with our activities, our actions, and our confidence. We shift energies back to the wands, so a lot of fire between Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And here we have the 7, and this one is called clearance. Frequently it's referred to as courage, but I like the clearance as part of that too, because often clearing things out gives us courage because we've gotten rid of the baggage. Maybe it's old attitudes about what we can do or can't do. Maybe it's just energies of things that are in our way, like clearing brush, getting stuff out of the way. But I do associate, as I said, with courage. And, here you have 6 of them leaning against the tree. And then that 7th one still on the ground. That is the one that has been shaped. The other ones you can see with that axe that they have been cut, but they are not fully shaped yet. So That one that's apart often can be that thing that we most want, where we are the clearest and the most focused. So sevens relate to the chariot. So it could be that there is an energy of clearing things that gives us the courage to move our lives forward in some way. Sometimes I think of it as a kind of energy that's getting ready to happen. It's maybe not quite happening yet, but soon it will. When we get to Thursday, we have switched the energy, and this is our only earth card for this week. So we do kind of need to watch the grounding because we've got the water and we've got the fire. So, steamy, that's part of that Venus energy this week. But then we get to Thursday and it gets more grounded. So this one's the two, you might notice two of discs here again, stones is what they use for this suit. And it's labeled also challenges. And we have our two rabbits, I don't know, dancing, maybe boxing. We could think of it that way. To me, the card has a lot of energy of balance. We see the two rabbits, just one more little look here, balancing on their feet like that, right? Sitting up and then using the hands to balance as well. Even the ears have balance in them. There's a way that the painting this was photographed from also has that, the kind of dip down and the rise up on one side, a little higher, a little lower, but it's all in balance. So it could be about relationships. The twos relate to the high priestess, and that can very much be about communicating, pardon me, sharing information, going very deep with the intuition. When it's a stone or an earth energy, how do we bring balance into our activities, into our lives, perhaps into our relationships, and keeping a sense of flow and groundedness. That's a big part of that card for me too, because we maybe can juggle things up in the air, but if we're not grounded, it kind of doesn't matter. We sort of lose touch with that and can be so focused up there that we don't know what's going on down beneath us, and that's what supports us and gives us energy. By the time, that was our Friday, and by the time we get to Saturday, as I mentioned, we get the Hierophant. Here it's called the Ancestor, and I'm going to bring that in a little bit closer because I think the visuals on this are amazing. So you have this stag head, human body, kind of not, gender determined here. Often it is a male figure, but with a dress on, so there's balance in the gender aspect of it as well. And the energy is not male or female. It is more nuanced than that. It is more balanced than that. Now, a little bit on the dark side, it can represent things like law, courts, issues like that, and we might see more of that on the world stage. Personally, it's more like, what is my spirituality? Where do I get my sense of a higher power? Am I looking for that on the outside, or am I finding that within? And to me, that's like the giant shift that we're going through. That, sure, we have external forms that we might envision as creator energy, as source energy, maybe use, God energy, spirit energy, things like that. But ultimately, that ability to connect with that higher power is within us. And that's what this Hierophant can remind us of. And, with the tree there and the snow, there's a meditative quality to that. You've got tools, the drum, different pelts and so forth that our human creature hybrid here is wearing and using. So again, that was our Saturday. And that made our second 5, and it made our second major. So that pairing is strong this week, as I mentioned. Here's our second cup. So we began with vessels or cups, and we're ending with vessels or cups. And as you can probably see, or maybe not hear, this is the king. And it's obviously a heron, and that's even what it's called. Herons are hunters, which is interesting to me. They're stalking fish and I guess other little creatures that live in the water. You know, here where I live in the Midwest, you can see them in the summertime when it's warmer, the warmer parts of the year. And they'll be, you know, stalking in the edges. And, you know, here he's taking a step, but sometimes you'll see them balancing on the one leg with no problem. They have beautiful balance that way. They are sacred because they can walk on the ground, they can fly, and they can be in the water as well. So all of those elements make it a sacred animal. So that's a lovely, kind, nurturing, which is unusual sometimes for the masculine, but a nurturing masculine, a very supportive, loving kind of masculine energy that ends our week of, again, lots of pairings. So for our last card, I'm going to draw from the Winged Enchantment Oracle deck, and what came up for us was the Rooster, number 30. It fits so much with the sun. This seems to always happen, that somehow the Oracle card echoes something vital from the week's cards. I am Rooster, the rising sun and the break of day. I am vitality. I am sexuality. I am the eternal matrix of fertility. I am the time to act and the need to use force in creation. I am fire and momentum. What did we have? But several wands this week too. While the feminine nurtures all things created, I am the force that shapes the created. I will guide it. I will give it life. I will mold its most useful form into place. I love that energy. Now is not the time to tend to worn out things, but to light the fire of new life. While you can acknowledge those times of stillness and acceptance, I assure you that this is not that time. I am Creator God, wielding the power of seed and continuity. I am the domain of reproductive potency. Unleash potential and start making things happen. And you know, in some ways that fits with that Mercury going into Sagittarius, because that's a potent fire sign. And it can help our communication, you know, and as we keep that throat open, that throat chakra, it keeps open the hips and that sacral chakra, which is our creativity as well. So I'm the domain of reproductive potency. Unleash potential and start making things happen. I will give you the new dawn you seek. And that can be a very exciting energy for the week. You are eternal potency, you are conception, you are the dawn's triumphant herald, you are Rooster. So wishing you all a beautiful week, beloveds. If you need a personal reading or curious about that, please check out my email, which will be below in the description box, or the website, and reach out if you have any questions. And please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Have a wonderful week. See you next time.